welcome back. I'm Noreen Burke, owner of Call Clutter Fairy Home Organizing, and this is my YouTube channel, The Crafty Organizer. I am so excited for today's video. I love doing crafts, and I've always loved duplicating high-end looks at a very inexpensive, affordable price. I am very much a thrifty person, and today is my first time doing a duplicate look for you. So I found this sign at Hobby Lobby that I loved. And my sister's probably watching this laughing, but $40 to me was still too high of a price to pay. I change my mind all of the time about things. I change my look so often that for me, spending $40 on something that I'll probably only keep for one season is just not my style. But I love seeing these things going, I can make that. And so I want to show you how I made this sign. And I only spent $4.25, you guys. So let's get started. So I completely lucked out on this sign. It was a leftover at Big Lots at the end of the Halloween season, and I got this for $4. It's a real plank of wood, which is amazing. The letters that are actually on it were hardwood. It had metal straps. It was a really high-end piece. So I started by just taking off the rope and sanding it on the back just to get off any oils and dirt, make sure it's really smooth. But I've been holding on to this sign, just waiting. I knew I wanted to do something to the back of it the minute I saw what high quality it was. And when I saw this one at Hobby Lobby, that was it. I truly fell in love with both of these. I thought they were both super cute. This one has the pink gingham, and then the other look was a yellow daisy sunflower look. I think they're super cute. Now these were just paper printed on a particle board. So that was the other reason I kind of looked at it thinking, gosh, 40 bucks is kind of high when it won't stand weather and you can't really do anything to the back. So I went over to the paper department. Thankfully, they were having a sale, 4 for $1, which is where the other quarter comes in. And they had so many great looks for spring. So I knew I wanted to do something very similar with the flowers, but I wanted it to match my decor. And I have so much black and white that was something I was looking for, is something that would fit in with that, but I also wanted some bright colors for spring. So can you guess which one I picked out of this? Leave me a comment below if you guessed as you were looking at these which one I would want. This black and white stripe with the bright pink flowers was absolutely the one that I chose. So I'm just going to give myself the halfway mark because I'm going to be cutting out kind of like a die cut along the shapes of these flowers. So I want it to come to a V similarly to the way the actual sign was. So right now I'm just loosely cutting them around so that I can place it on the board, and I'll duplicate that going the other direction. So I'll have two little square or a rectangular pieces left over, but that's okay. I'll set those aside and probably make a little sign for my entryway that will match this. And then I just kind of lay out where they will fit, and this will give me the spacing that I have available for my letters. So I just did a quick measurement. It was 30 inches that I had left over, so I knew each one of my letters needed to be right around 4 to 4¼ inches. I use contact paper because it is so affordable, and I do have a Cricut machine. I'm very lucky. But you could absolutely paint this, use stickers. You could do the transfer where you print it on your printer, rub some pencil on the back, and then trace the letters and paint them in. Or if you're talented enough, you could freehand, but you don't have to use a Cricut. However, if you do like the simplicity of this, you can order these from a multitude of Etsy shops. So while my Cricut was going, I went in and detail cut around the shapes of the flowers and the leaves so it had that really pretty filigree look to them. And then when it was done, I had my letters ready. So if you haven't played with a Cricut before, the weeding process is the first thing you do. You get off the excess of the vinyl, in this case the contact paper, and then you take a clear transfer paper. In this case I also use clear contact paper, and you rub the letters so that you can put the same placement in. Now when I set this up on my Cricut to print, I made sure they were already aligned down the center so I didn't have to worry about playing with the placement. So I'm just going to lay them down with the sticky side up so that I can play around with the placement before I flip it over and rub it down. And once I had that done, it was time to go ahead and make sure I had everything lined up the way I wanted to. And I wanted to attach my paper. Now, you can Mod Podge this, you can use Gorilla Glue. I wouldn't use hot glue because it won't go flat enough. But what I like to use, and you've seen me use this before, is I really like using spray adhesive. They have a permanent and they have a removable. I like the permanent, so I spray the surface area first, and then I go ahead and spray the back of my paper, and as you can see, it's very sticky. It almost looks like contact cement. But the minute I touch it down, it's a complete solid bond, and I just make sure to press around all those little delicate things that I cut out, as well as the sides. I do the same thing for the bottom side, and get that all placed. And now the last thing to do, now that I know exactly where both of those floral ends are, is attach my letters. I do take the time to make sure it's even on both sides, but you can eyeball it. I eyeball pretty often and it's usually just fine. This was a super easy, inexpensive project. If you do not already have one of these welcome signs that's seasonal to use the backside with, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and just have them cut down a simple piece of wood. It should not be more than about $4 or $5 to get a big plank of wood, and you can stain it or cut it. I really liked the weathered wood look. And then the last thing I do is I take a nail file or a piece of sandpaper and I sand the paper at the edges so it's a really clean, finished edge. I've always done that so that things have a really specific clean look. But I'm so happy with this. So here's the Hobby Lobby version at $39.99, and here's my version for a whopping $4.25. If you liked this style of video, please leave me a comment below. I absolutely adore this style of crafting, and if this is something you like, I would love to provide more to you. I am always searching for things that I like and finding a way to duplicate it as inexpensively as possible with items that you can usually find pretty easily every once in a while, as I've got a couple coming up. It was a thrift store find, but even so, it gives you a different way to look at things. So please leave me a comment below if you would like more of these. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye.